Now entering Nerdist.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for downloading another episode of Today We Learn. And this is Today We Learn number 33.
You guys made the right choice.
This is 33, man. It's a big number. We're getting there. We're almost to a year, almost.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I mean, we're 20 episodes away, essentially, in theory.
Yeah.
Goddamn, time goes by, and we, as usual, we thank everybody for listening. But it's been a fun ride. We want to thank Aristotle and Katie for helping us out, and Nerdist for having us.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of something specific about 33, but I can't. I feel like
33.
Is there a number about 33?
33 times a lady.
Yeah, 33 times a lady.
If only there were some fun facts about it.
Oh, there's. Oh yeah, Fancy Ketchup has.
Yeah,
we'll
third
talk about
Fancy
that.
Ketchup. No spoilers for this episode, Aristotle.
Yeah.
Nice
Aristotle.
try.
Thank you, guy.
Settle
Settle down, guy. Settle down in the corner over there.
Traditional Masonic number. It's the largest positive integer that cannot be expressed as a sum of different triangular numbers. I got so bored reading that. Sorry, guys. I'm not much of a matho.
I'm sleeping already. Hope you weren't driving while listening to that.
Yeah, please. Driving and listening's fine, but don't read a transcript of this podcast or text it to your friends while driving.
Cool. On that note, today's episode is once again brought to you by our awesome friends at T-Fury.
T-Fury.
Tfury.com.
They are your original pop culture t-shirt destination, selling unique designs every day since 2008, and you can snag their shirts for only 24 hours beginning at midnight.
Beginning at midnight, 24 hours. And wait, Dan, let me ask you this. What kind of t-shirts can you get?
Oh my god, Razzle. They cover all your favorite topics and fandoms. They've got everything from gaming, sci-fi, anime, TV, movies, pop culture, and more. Their t-shirts change daily, so check back as often as you like. And say you're missing a shirt from the past, you want to get it again, what do? You head to the T-Fury Gallery. Sorry, I was so excited I didn't wait for you to answer.
The T-Fury Gallery.
And you can buy old designs that are still in print, vote on others to come back from the dead, like some sort of Frankenstein's monster, but that one that looks dapper and isn't covered in that. He was always wearing that weird suit. What was the deal with that? Come on, Doc. Get him some clothes.
With like the frayed ends and stuff like that. Come on,
would it kill you to buy him a turtleneck, Pally? Anyway, I digress. Every 2 to 4 weeks, T-Fury adds more designs to their gallery, so be sure to keep an eye out for the return of your favorite shirts.
Yeah,
and
also
don't.
Go ahead and
Don't forget.
Don't forget. Let me guess what
the T-Fury After Hours sale. If you miss the day's shirt by only a little bit, they keep the sale going into the wee hours of the morning just for you.
Yeah, it's like a last call for alcohol, only last call for your shirts.
It's like a last call with Carson Daly, except you don't have to deal with Carson Daly.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, it's just a t-shirt instead of a person who hosts a show.
You purchase it.
It's not even the voice.
No, it's the voice.
So be sure, whatever you do, be sure to check out tfury.com/nerdist and see what today's shirt is all about.
Yeah, they've had some really cool ones lately, too, so check that out. First off, we want to thank you guys for the delay. Dan's been traveling, I've been traveling. We've been, you get busy and everybody's got to hustle and bustle doing their thing out here in Los Angeles, and we lost track of not having any podcasts in the can.
We decided to give you guys a Monday off. You seemed like you had a long weekend, could use a day to recover. I've seen how hard you work.
Yeah.
You know what, baby? You've earned it.
Yeah, so it's it's a day late, $1 short, but this is.
But fortunately, we've got change. I don't know.
We got change for $1 here. We recorded this one. This is a different episode. The audio quality might be different. We recorded this on a handheld.
Yes,
on location.
Don't blame. I was going to say don't blame us, but actually you should only blame us. Aristotle's guiding hand was not there to make sure we didn't just scream for an hour straight.
We recorded a handheld at Nerdist Studios.
Yeah, the Nerdist Industries HQ.
Nerdist
location,
HQ, yeah.
Undisclosed.
And
today I'm really excited about this guest. I've been wanting to get her on the podcast for a while. The fabulous Jessica Chobot. She is super rad, super nice. And you can see her hosting Nerdist News, a program that I am occasionally on. Jess is on Nerdist News. You can see her hosting stuff for Microsoft. She's the writer on an upcoming video game called Daylight. You'll learn all about that in the podcast. But anyway, she is pretty radical.
She's a really cool girl.
I think
really
you
fun.
are going to really dig this podcast because she knows a lot about a lot of things. I was going to say the occult, all sorts of conspiracy theories.
All sorts. This is a really
stuff
fun
that
podcast.
will surprise you.
This
perhaps
is really interesting.
Shock you.
Yeah, she's got some good stories.
Like if you rubbed your feet on a carpet, then touched someone or something, you'll be shocked.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good episode.
Anyway,
without further ado, today we learn number 33 with Jessica Chobot.
Today we learn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Speaking of video games, real quick, before we get into this podcast, today I learned, I was reading in New Mexico, Atari, and New Mexico is letting Atari, or I didn't read the article completely, I just read the headline, but years ago, when Atari made the E.T. video game, and it sucked, they buried like majority of the cartridges that didn't sell in a desert somewhere in a landfill, and apparently that landfill is in New Mexico. Yeah, and they have laws that say you can't dig up landfills or whatever. But New Mexico has
making a documentary about it to be released on Xbox.
Yeah, really?
So they're going to dig up all the old
Atari cartridges
and recycle.
James actually has one.
I'm sure I've got one somewhere. I could have sworn. Am I wrong in remembering that they gave them away as part of a Happy Meal? Remember when you go to like Pizza Hut and you could buy like 4 glasses that were the Smurfs?
Yeah.
Or like 4
I remember the ones for Batman and Robin.
I remember the Back to the Future sunglasses at Pizza
Bears, Hut. And I remember that. Remember you could do that kind of thing? I could have sworn McDonald's offered if you pay like $9.99 you can get E.T. for Atari.
We got Mr. Mom VHS that way at McDonald's. They were selling like 3 different VHSs, and we bought Mr. Mom. 220, 221, whatever it takes. So good. I love Michael Keaton.
I hope we're rolling, because this is an excellent conversation.
We've been rolling.
We always are rolling.
That's our secret.
So what are they going to do with these cartridges then once they pull it up?
I didn't read
dust them off, sell them, play them, turn them into candles to sell on Etsy.
Probably sell them and...
I was going to say, they're probably just going to supply them all to Etsy.
I make vintage soaps based off of classic game
cartridges. The thing is they're gonna dig those up, and then immediately the value of all the ones on the market right now are going to drop, because there's so many more.
Oh, there's no soil on this one. Not rare.
Yeah, yeah. I only want ones with soil on it.
Yeah, this is mint. Wanted near mint.
Rock and roll. Well,
all right.
Let's light this candle. Thank you for listening to another episode of Today We Learn.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. As usual, my name is Razzle,
and I'm Dan.
And with us is the very lovely Jessica Chobot.
Hi.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Correct, right?
My pleasure.
It's Jessica Chobot.
Yeah.
I get a lot of Chobot.
Chobot, yeah. It's like, I'm going to tell a marketer calls, you get the, hi, can I speak to Ms. Chabot, please?
Yeah, it's like,
I always get, is Mr. Cassie here? I'm like, Cassie. You had 5 letters, you're fired.
My real last name is Gwizdala, Gwizdala, and anytime that would happen, they'd always be like Griswold or like Grisdwalda, and
I would probably
there's so many like extra letters. It's baffling.
It sounds like a tech startup, so I feel like they'd be more inclined to understand nowadays. But
yeah.
So the new app from Gwizdala.
That's why I just go by Razzle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dumber and
Mr. Razzle.
Yeah.
Before all this bullshit started, you may know Jessica Chobot from Nerdist News on this here website, Nerdist.com. She is the hostess with the mostest. She is also a writer on a new video game coming out, Daylight, which I'm very excited / terrified to play.
That's right, I gotta send you that email too. I'll do that before I leave today. Cool. Yes, I'm excited for you to play it as well. I'm excited to play it. I've played a little bit of it.
So, for those who are not necessarily in the know, what's a little logline for it?
Oh, it is a horror genre point and click experience, I guess you can say. There's a little bit of I don't want to experience is kind of a broad term, but it's definitely more atmospheric. Although there is a little bit of I guess action / battle to it, but only to support what the story is. Would you say it's closer
in gameplay style to something like Telltale's The Walking Dead, or closer to something like Resident Evil?
Probably Walking Dead, closer to that. When we started it, we always had the mindset, it was right when Slender Man and Amnesia were starting to kick off, and so we were all like, let's do something
like a more cerebral experience then.
When I particularly thought of it, I always kind of got my inspiration in my mind for it to be along the lines of like a Silent Hill / Seventh Guest kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
one of those.
Silent Hill. I remember when that game came out. I rented it from Blockbuster, played about 10 minutes, turned off the console, went back to Blockbuster, returned it because I could I could not deal with it. It was too scary.
See, I made the mistake. I love those games up until 3. After 3, it was terrible. Not terrible, but it wasn't great. But up until 1 was good because it was 1. 2 was amazing because it's fucking amazing. That's my, personal opinion. And then 3 was good good follow-up, and then it dropped off from there. But then I remember playing, we had a finished basement, and I was living in Michigan at the time with my first husband.
Where in Michigan?
This place called Northville.
Okay, I'm from Bay City.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, right around there. Now the soul. I
will say a good 90% of the people that have been on this podcast are somehow from Michigan.
Yeah, it's because Michigan sucks and they move out here.
Most people in California, I find, are Michigan.
Yeah.
But so I was in the finished basement, and I was playing, and I hadn't realized I'd been playing so long because you get sucked into it. And then all of a sudden I looked up, and I was sitting in the basement by myself in the dark playing this game. I had to call my husband at the time from my cell phone downstairs, but can you come downstairs and help me upstairs because I'm scared to move? Because if I move, they're gonna get me.
Because my legs have atrophied.
Well, there was that as well, but also I was more scared that if the minute I turned around, something was gonna be like.
That's what I love about the Midwest is people from the Midwest. Anytime you're talking to them, on the coasts we don't have basements out in California, or even in Florida. Or I lived in Florida, and even in major cities like Chicago or New York, they don't really have a lot of basements. Mm-hmm. And I love how people always, anytime they're talking about their basement, it's always either finished or unfinished because there are different types of basements. Yeah. You have it to where it's like living quarters down there, finished, carpet and TVs.
Yeah, other times it's just a murder dungeon / spider hotel.
A cement slab, or then there's the ones from if you live in an old house that are literally just dirt floors with cracked cement all around. Oh my god, I had one of those in college, and it was we called it we called it a couple things, but
so weird.
We called it a murder dungeon.
It's a great place to have a fight club.
So freaky.
It was terrifying.
While we're talking about, I guess, houses and living quarters
and general scariness,
here's some talking about some haunted stuff here. Everybody, I'm assuming if you listen to this podcast, you're in the know of some sort. But there's a place called the Winchester Mystery House, which, long story short, it's owned. It used to be owned by the widow of the gentleman who invented the Winchester rifle,
William Wirt Winchester.
And
WWW, the original.
He died, and she had the house, and it was under construction, and because she was so afraid of the ghosts of the Indians and other people murdered by using the rifles, she just kept having the house built with rooms and staircases and closets and doorways leading to nowhere. It's a huge mansion.
It's a lot of traps and stuff designed to confuse spirits.
Yeah, it's a mansion in San Jose, California, which was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of gun magnate William Wirt Winchester. The property and mansion have been claimed to be haunted, including by Winchester herself, since construction commenced in 1884. Under Winchester's day-to-day guidance, its from-the-ground-up construction proceeded around the clock without interruption until her death on September 5th of 1922. So the house was worked on for a good 36 years about.
Yeah.
And
non-stop.
Just
24 hours a day construction. Being a neighbor would have been the worst.
Man. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Not really.
We're going to haunt this place. Oh no, so many traps.
Just recently, the house has stated that they're going to allow people to camp out there and sleep there.
Yeah, and they will permit you to, I think, drink booze there, so you can get drunk with some spooky specters, and you can sleep over. And this is a cool little factoid here. Before the 1906 earthquake, this house was 7 stories high. Now, it's only 4 stories high. Where are those 3 stories?
They're haunting the place.
My God.
Well, so I actually know a lot about this because I love this creepy shit.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
Yes, you have a podcast coming out that would deal with.
Podcast.
Well, it's in the making. It's in development.
It's in development. A podcast about weird. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yes.
You are.
I was gonna say
motherfucker.
I was gonna say weird, fucked up shit. We've changed the name.
Yeah.
I might be changing it back.
Okay. To spooky
shit. Yeah. I think it's a long story.
I like spooky shit. That's I like that title.
I liked it as well. And then we thought, well, let's go a little bit more mature. And so then we shifted to the mature. And then the couple of the guests that we had on were way into their fucked up shit. So it was a little less fun.
Too far. Too far.
And now it's a little too far. So I might have to pull it right back to being a little bit more entertaining and a little less holy crap, you're on a list somewhere. But I didn't know. The whole point of me saying this was I did not know. I know a lot about this house, but I did not know that it used to be 7 stories high. So what did they just knock out a few walls or something, or not walls, but ceilings?
I'm guessing a lot of the house was damaged, and when they rebuilt it, they probably built it 4 stories, so it would be more conducive to not falling again.
And it was in the 1906 quake, and they were still working on it up until 1922, so it really could have been 7 stories high, but the 3 stories could have not been finished stories.
Yeah.
It could have just been buttresses and
flying or otherwise. A non-flying buttress.
Oh my god, you just threw me back to art school. I had to learn about those.
Yeah.
They're boring.
I'm gonna say, guys, if you get a hold up a ceiling, you can do a lot worse than a flying buttress. Great feature. Speaking, this is a good natural segue. You just mentioned profanity. If you can swear on this on this podcast, and fuck yes, you can.
Fuck
Sweet.
yes. Shit.
And I don't know if you guys have seen Martin Scorsese's latest film, The Wolf of Wall Street. But if you have, there's a fair bit of profanity in there, and
I've seen it.
Drugs being done out of people's butts and other stuff that
Ask me my favorite part of Wolf
I just
of Wall
don't
Street.
understand. What is the point of doing drugs out of someone's butt? I mean,
to boldly go where no man's been before.
What
I don't know.
I feel like that's a possible waste of good drugs.
Have you ever done drugs out of a butt? You gotta try it.
I gotta admit, that's one of the things that I have not done in my life so far. Bucket list.
Well, you can't spell butt funnel without butt fun.
If you're gonna do drugs, I assume you have. If you're gonna do drugs out of an asshole, I feel like you have extra drugs to spare.
Yeah, at that point, you're just like, well, I may as well go for broke here.
I suppose so.
Yeah. It seemed like Jordan Belfort was not lacking for drugs. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because according to IMDb, The Wolf of Wall Street has broken the world record for the most F-bombs in a motion picture. Now, I found slightly different data on Wikipedia. On Wikipedia, it was actually number 3. Wolf of Wall Street has 569 fucks over the course of 180 minutes, which averages out to 3.16 fucks per minute.
Did you do the math on that?
No, they broke it down on Wikipedia.
Oh my gosh.
The 2 other films, Gutterballs and Fuck, a documentary about the word fuck, were listed as higher, but no source was given, so I don't know how credible that is. Other interesting frontrunners, Summer of Sam, 435 fucks, 3.06 fucks per minute. Nil by Mouth, 428 fucks, 3.34 per minute. And Casino, another Scorsese classic, 422 fucks, 2.4 per minute.
I suppose you could say they gave 0 fucks.
Or they gave a lot of fucks.
They gave all the
They gave
fucks.
as many fucks as they
gave
had.
as many. We give lots of fucks.
I was not expecting close to 569.
I'm surprised The Departed's not on there, because I feel like The Departed had quite a few on there.
The Departed might well be on there. I don't know if I still have that website up.
Fuck's a good word.
Yeah, Departed has 237 fucks, 151 minutes, which averages to 1.56 FPMs.
Here's a fun fact. Crazy Stupid Love has 2 fucks. And that is still a PG-13 movie.
Wow. They got away with it.
Somehow they got away with it.
A perfect crime.
For those of you that don't know, the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America, has a rule, generally. Obviously, this rule did not apply to this movie. But in order to... You can say fuck once in a PG-13 movie.
A teen would.
Yeah.
But apparently Crazy Stupid Love somehow got off with saying 2 fucks.
Dun,
Was it a full fuck, or was it like a half a fuck? Like a fuck?
Kasha.
I can't remember. I've seen the movie like a couple times, but I think it's 2 full fucks. I think Emma Stone says holy fuck or fuck or something like that, and then I think the other one might
But
be
I also wonder what they dubbed it over to for television edits, because those always crack me up.
Crazy.
They crack me up. My favorite is Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
My favorite is from Die Hard when it's Mr. Falcon.
Yippee-ki-yay,
Mr. Falcon.
Oh my god.
Who is this Mr. Falcon?
The only thing I'm just grateful for, at least they've gotten voice actors now that are relatively close to mimicking the actual actor's voice, rather than back in the 80s when it would just be some random person, probably at the station.
Yeah, just like Dave the intern. Like, you
Darn
piece of
it.
friend.
Yeah.
You mother father.
Here's something off completely random. This was last week on March 20th, actually a couple weeks ago, March 20th. This gentleman passed away. We were talking about games and toys and all that, but the inventor of Teddy Ruxpin recently passed away.
No.
Yeah. And here's a few fun facts about him. His name is Earl Kenneth Forsey. He was born on September 25th, 1936, and died on March 20th. He was an American inventor, and he invented Teddy Ruxpin. Before that, though, he worked for the Walt Disney Company and Sid and Marty Krofft on their television shows. But one thing that really struck me was he worked on the animatronics. He invented the animatronics for Welcome to Pooh Corner and Dumbo's Circus.
I've already clocked out of this story because of...
Did you have a Teddy Ruxpin?
No, I hate I hate animatronic anthropomorphic animals.
So
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you fall on Furby?
Yeah.
That's a good...
Because
he's not really an animal, and he also doesn't...
It's animatronic and anthropomorphic to a point, but nothing based on...
I should take animatronic out of this equation. It's really just anthropomorphic that bothers me, and so when they act, so obviously the animatronic aspect of it drives me nuts.
You're not an active DeviantArt user, I take it.
No, not terribly so. No, why? Is there a lot of that on there?
Oh, there's so much horrifying anthropomorphized animal avatars and all that stuff.
I know what Avatar is. I don't know what DeviantArt is.
Are you talking about like
it's just when they give human qualities to an animal?
Okay.
And
furry porn? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. Yeah, I can't.
But even not, if you just type in your name plus the hedgehog into Google, you'll find someone's DeviantArt portrait of you as a Sonic the Hedgehog character. And even those are terrifying. I remember we did one for our coworker Jesse, and he just had a rippling six-pack.
Oh God, no! See,
that's awesome.
It's really
it's so gross and awesome.
Here's a good rundown.
Yeah.
So let's use Bambi as an example. Bambi, when they were young, because they spoke in little, tiny voices, I didn't mind it so much. When they got older and spoke in adult voices, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
Dumbo, when he was a baby, well, he never spoke during the entire movie, so he didn't bother me really at all. But the crows drove me crazy.
Gotcha.
I was talking all the time. I mean, Fox and the Hound, can't stand it. Just anything.
So where do you fall on Miyazaki movies?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, because there's plenty of animal spirits there. What about Muppets?
I don't really like Muppets.
Okay.
I don't really like Muppets. I don't like puppets, and thus I'd also...
So they've got two things going against them.
So they've got two acts, yeah.
I don't care about your Rainbow Connection credit. I
hated Fraggle Rock. Hated it.
You hated it.
Hated it. Dark Crystal. I like the movie, but they drive me kind of... It takes a lot for me to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Crystal's overrated.
I don't think it's terrible.
It's so weird and boring and ugh.
But see, I can handle those.
The Skeksis are just gross looking as a child.
I don't think the Skeksis were meant to be attractive.
I don't know. I just don't like it when... First of all, I don't like puppets.
Yeah.
And I especially don't like it if it's a puppet of an actual animal. If it's like an offshoot animal or some sort of make-believe animal, I can handle it a little bit better. I don't love it, but I'll deal with it.
Less grounded in reality?
Less grounded in reality. An actual animal
What
puppet.
is it about them that bothers you, may I ask?
They act like people.
Okay.
That bothers me. And I get angered
you're a
by
dang
it.
seagull, know your role.
Yeah, or something. But then when they start... So here's what it goes. Hate puppets. Across the board. Puppets that act kind of like animals, or I'm sorry, puppets that are not real animals, make believe animals. I don't like, but I can deal with.
Like Gonzo.
Yeah, I can deal with that. Puppets that are actual animals, and based on
Lamb
real,
Chop.
like Lamb Chop. Hate it, but Lamb Chop's saving grace, kind of, is that it has a fake little baby voice.
Mm-hmm.
If it has a fake little baby voice, or if it's something like Pokemon where it only speaks its own little language,
gotcha.
I can deal with it. But then the minute it starts talking and acting like an actual human adult, then all of those...
Deal breaker.
Total deal breaker. It's very... I know, there's a lot of rules to it, but it's a thing.
They're your rules.
It's a thing. It's a thing. A man's got to have a code.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Not to completely derail you.
Oh, no.
So Teddy
no.
Ruxpin's dead. And
Not
that
even
makes-
Denzel Washington can stop that train. That didn't happen.
Yeah. No train derailing at all.
Well, shifting gears slightly.
Shift gears.
Recently on the podcast, we mentioned a rather unusual item sold on eBay. It was James Blunt put his sister up for auction on eBay.
We did.
Basically, he put his sister up on auction for eBay for like a date with her because she was trying to get to Ireland to go to a wedding. This guy had a helicopter and like flew her out there, and they wound up falling in love. Now they're married.
Are you serious?
Yeah, human trafficking turned out to be a beautiful love story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I found an article today on Mental Floss that listed some other priceless items sold on eBay that I was pretty interesting. One of which was Albert Einstein's handwritten letter to Jewish philosopher Eric Gutkind. Priced at $3 million, sold for $3,100,000.
Bidding war.
Yeah, right? You know, everyone was like, $3 million and
like-
1 cent.
Was it shipping costs or something?
Yeah, right? Does not meet reserve. Another guy sold the original Hollywood sign, which was apparently built in 1923 as a real estate gimmick.
Okay.
Listed at $300,000, sold for $450,400.
Now, is that the full Hollywood land?
No, just Hollywood.
Hollywood.
I don't know what happened to the
Land, I
limbs.
think, got destroyed. It fell apart.
Yeah.
Which is why they ended up tearing it down
Tearing it
and
down.
putting up the new one that we've got now.
Yeah, it's also just...
Because that one chick jumped from it. She
Yes.
jumped from that sign, so they kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Then a piece of Mars in the form of a meteorite, priced and sold for $450,000.
And then I think I didn't finish writing this one. Sorry.
On the note, hold on. On this note here that we have written that Dan didn't finish, it says, a Tuscan village, Italian village of.
I like to add a little mystery into the podcast. I'm sorry if we're
Just
trying
admit
to
you
keep
got a
things
bid
fresh.
in there and you don't want anybody else to know on it.
Listen. So, 22 miles east of Florence, there is a Tuscan village called Pratoricia, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Christina Riccia. And they've been trying to sell this place for some time through a number of different agencies. It's about 25 homes across 20 acres. And they got a bunch of attention by putting it on eBay. They put it on eBay for $5 million initially.
Huh.
Unfortunately, no one wants to pay $5 million for this Italian village, not even if they want to create their own horror films.
Facebook could buy it.
Wound up selling for $3.1 mil.
$3.1 million for a town.
Yeah, a village.
A village, yeah.
Who
Village,
bought
excuse me.
it? Do we know?
I don't know.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
He buys all those things.
All right.
Yeah.
If I had that much money, like if I just had like disposable income of billions of dollars, I would buy villages.
I'd buy one.
I'd buy villages,
Fuck it.
and yeah, why not?
Yeah.
May as well.
I'd buy things up like that.
Have your own Sim City.
Yeah.
See?
Feel at
Damn, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Cruel and benevolent
I'd be
mayor.
I'd become Doctor Doom. If I was a billionaire, I would try and be like Lex Luthor. I'm not gonna lie. I would try and be a supervillain if I was a billionaire.
Yeah, I still remember one of the earliest eBay stories is that kid who sold his soul on eBay for like $10,000 or something.
remember
It was like an
this.
empty jar or something like that, right?
It was just like it might have been even like the Simpsons model where it was just like a piece of, like a letter, sort of like an official certification, like here's my soul, you own
Yeah.
it now.
I saw somebody selling a ghost once. Like an actual ghost.
Haunted.
And isn't there a town here in California that sold for like a penny or a dollar?
Yeah, there was one that sold a couple times. I was pretty
a
sure.
buck, I think.
Hold on, I have it right here. It is called Bridgeville, California. You get an entire working town, proclaimed a 2002 post, with shops, woodworking, plumbing, gas, and electric. With the proper development, Bridgeville can become an economic powerhouse with the potential for generating a large cash flow. They would even get their own zip code if you bought this place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it sold.
It sold. It actually sold twice. At first, it sold for $750,000, and then in 2006, that guy who bought it originally sold it again for $1.25 million. And apparently, since then, it's changed hands a third time without eBay's help. Maybe I'm Yeah, no, it's been sold twice on eBay, and perhaps once outside of eBay. So if you're in Bridgeville and listening to this, who's in charge? We need to know.
Yeah, send us an email.
Do you need an adult?
Here's a little bit of it's kind of like a stretch of a segue of sorts, but old villages and old architecture and all that, especially in the the European area.
Yeah, a place with a lot of flying buttresses.
Yeah, a lot of flying buttresses. Flying buttress. That's our spin-off podcast called Flying
Baby Got Buttress, about young architects.
But everybody's familiar with the tall buildings with like demons or creatures hanging off the sides of it.
Or a popular animated series from the 90s of the same name.
That was a great...
What would this series be called? Gargoyles.
Gargoyles. Now, here's the thing I didn't know about gargoyles. The term gargoyle only refers to carved stone figures in Gothic architecture that function as water spouts.
Oh, so they actually have to have a function to them. They
gargoyles,
have to transmit water from point A.
In order to be considered a gargoyle, it needs to transmit water or transport water from the roof off of the building. They generally have like a hole through them, and they shoot out their mouth.
That is really cool. You know, you just picture them as like decoration.
There's a church somewhere that has, I could swear this is Star Wars or Batman carved into the church as a gargoyle.
Okay. Well, is it a gargoyle or is it a grotesque or also a chimera?
It might be a grotesque.
Because in architecture, a gargoyle is a carved stone grotesque, which is the figure, with a spout designed to convey water from a roof and away from the side of a building, thereby preventing rainwater from running down masonry walls and eroding the mortar in between.
Makes sense.
Architects often use multiple gargoyles on buildings to divide the flow of rainwater off of the roof to minimize the potential damage from rainstorms. And when not constructed as water spouts and only serving as ornamental or artistic functions, much like the gargoyles on the cartoon, the correct term for such a sculpture is called a chimera. Chimera. Just as chimeras, gargoyles are said to frighten off spirits and protect those that it guards, such as churches, away from evil spirits.
A chimera was an actual, and by actual I mean actual make-believe, fantasy animal that was like the body of a lion.
In mythology, it was composed of three animals: a lion, a snake, and a goat. So it had like a lion's head and body, goat's head coming from the back, and a tail that ended in a snake.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember. Them shits was terrifying.
So yeah, and mythological creatures, and that's what chimeras are, but in architecture, chimeras are just like figurines on top of buildings. Yeah. So like in Ghostbusters, the lions or the animals that at the end would have been chimeras. Versus
you also don't want to turn you also in Full Metal Alchemist don't ever want to create a chimera. That is really, really bad.
Exactly. It'll cost you an arm and a leg at least.
Yeah.
And then the term gargoyle originates from the French gargoule, which in English is likely to mean throat, or in otherwise a gullet. Which is kind of, I guess, where when you're brushing your teeth or whatever, the term gargle must come from.
That does make sense.
It's similar, with your throat, or the etymology or whatever.
Thanks, France.
Thank you, France.
But to answer your earlier question, the Washington National Cathedral has Darth Vader's likeness as a gargoyle on its exterior. Right. I would say Darth Vader probably qualifies because he's a grotesque, but I don't know if he transmits rainwater, so he's probably a chimera.
Chimera, yeah.
The rainwater is strong with this one. I don't know. I was trying to make a stupid Star Wars.
Let us know in the comments section, or send in a letter. Can we get a docent from the National Cathedral over here?
If you see the Darth Vader spouting water next time it's raining, let us know, and we'll amend that.
If you ever see Darth Vader spouting water, let us know.
Yeah.
Regardless. I feel like there's a cool opportunity for like scuba gear, like a Darth Vader helmet style one, because you already have the rebreather built in.
Oh god, that's brilliant!
Or like a motorcycle helmet.
Copyright. Called it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Rebreather. Are those even I guess, you can put little oxygen things in there, right?
Yeah, well, they just like connect to an oxygen tank, essentially. So it's just a matter of
you could do a whole bunch
air.
of just to make decorative.
Yeah.
Like an Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Or Predator, I mean.
Yeah.
Ooh. That'd be a pretty good one. That'd be a pretty good one, actually.
It would be good. Except when it opens too far. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but Batman is celebrating a birthday this year.
Yes.
He's turning 75 years old.
75 years old.
The actual date of his first appearance just passed, I believe. So his technical birthday, I think it was March 30th.
Yeah.
It was when he first appeared in Detective Comics number 27, the case of the Chemical Syndicate, excuse me. They're criminals, that's implied.
Chemicals and criminals.
But funner fact, I guess funner. It's
more fun fact.
As fun or more fun than Adam West, who we all know as the delightful Batman from the 60s television series, is 85. So
85. He was 10 years old when Batman debuted.
Batman is older than Batman.
I loved Adam West.
Yeah.
He was a great one.
While we're on the topic of, you mentioned, criminals. Burglary is a crime.
I would hope so.
Obviously.
Tell me more.
Segue here for burglary. We like to define words here and misconceptions here. Burglary actually, believe it or not, just means entering a building with the intent to commit a crime. So burglary isn't taking things. Burglary is just breaking into a building with the intent to commit a crime.
So then what's breaking and entering?
Breaking and entering
is just strictly just you got in there.
Yep, you got in there. That's a burglary. Essentially, is breaking and entering. B&E, as they call it, or house breaking. You're breaking into a premise premise is can be a house, right? Premises. You're breaking into a premises. Premises sounds like...
What if there's plural? Premises?
Premises.
The premises, yeah. You just shift the pronunciation.
So burglary, is just breaking into the house, and then that's where the theft and all, or graffiti, vandalism comes into play. That's where the second crime comes in.
Okay.
So first you're found guilty of breaking and entering, and then you'd be found guilty of theft or anything like that.
A couple weird laws from California that are also technically illegal. It is illegal to sell stuffed items resembling breasts, such as, quote, booby pillows
Hot Techno's in trouble.
Within 1,000 feet of a highway.
E3, any kind of anime expo, all of that's going to fall
amazing.
apart.
300 feet is pretty far, though.
Yeah, 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
Yeah.
That's 3 football fields.
I don't know. You don't want people turning off the highway to get your boob pillows.
Here's the thing. At what point in time did something happen where they were like, yo, we can't have this?
Oh, you don't remember the great booby pillow rush of Lot 3?
Carmageddon, that's why.
Yeah.
Do you know how much traffic was caused? Do you know how much traffic is caused by...
I can see Jamzilla happening.
Boob
pillows.
Also in California, specifically in Walnuts, California, no man shall dress as a woman without the written permission of the sheriff. So if you wanna, try on your significant other's blouse or just doll yourself up, you gotta talk to Sheriff.
I love how these are still
Cunningham.
laws.
Weird.
Yeah, it is odd.
There's so many weird laws that still they're. I love how they're worrying about new laws, but yet all these laws are
Well, it's because I figure people don't even pay attention.
Apparently, according to this IO9 article, in Iowa, kisses may last no more than 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Sorry, I'm a 6-minute guy. What can I say?
Honey, we're moving to Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh, some of these are... In Nebraska, you can't get married if you have gonorrhea.
Well, I think that's just a smart move on the government's part.
In Haddon Township, New Jersey, flirting is illegal.
Flirting?
So many angsty teens there.
So many batty eyelashes that can no longer bat.
Flirting.
In Tennessee, students may not hold hands in school. In Texas, now I've actually, this fact here, I think this is outdated, but apparently it used to be, at least to my understanding, it used to be illegal to own more than 6 dildos.
Well,
why would you need more than just a rabbit? I don't know.
Is this
what if you're?
Thing, right?
I mean, dude.
Yeah, very true.
If it's in use, what are you gonna? What are you gonna do to like?
What? I went to Costco. They sell things in bulk. What do you want from me?
What if you're the person selling them? What if you're the wholesaler?
Oh yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this. You can only sell them in batches of 5.
We can
Get you 5, Pat. Come on down to my other store if the second customer comes by.
Welcome to the dildo store where we only have 5 on hand at a time.
Another interesting fact, and this is probably a good case against eating before bed, but there's never a good case for that. Snack when you want. Ingesting vitamin B6 and tryptophan, which are found in things like cheddar cheese, an hour before bed can cause you to have more vivid, lucid dreams.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying this out.
I will try that.
That, to me, throws that weirdo line in A Christmas Carol into sharp relief for me. when he's like, when Ebenezer Scrooge first sees the ghost of Jacob Marley, he says, "You could be something I ate, a spot of mustard or a bit of bad cheese."
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And so he thinks he's having one of those crazy cheese dreams that all...
Was this like a common place?
So I guess
maybe.
So Charlie Dickens knew all about enhancing your dreams with foods and vitamins, apparently. Then.
Yeah. Cheese is
That's awesome. I'm going to have to try that because
I wouldn't put that past any writer. No.
There's also something called tyromancy, which is fortune-telling by interpreting the holes or mold in cheese.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the tea leaves reading thing, but the holes in cheese?
Yeah, it's... I
feel like you're really grasping.
There's a whole list of weird things for divining the future by looking at weird stuff.
There's egg whites in a water glass or something like that.
There's this one's a little lame. Armomancy, divination by examining one's shoulders.
What?
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
I have no idea.
A lot of that is witch hunting too, and that's forcing your future. Like if you look up to someone who's like, "Oh, I can predict the future," and they tell you you're going to meet a guy at the grocery store, you're going to start going to grocery stores trying to meet
some dude
or whatever. Or like if you're going to fall into some money, you're going to win some money in the lotto. Well, okay, now you're going to start playing the lottery.
Yeah.
I don't know. But enhancing your dreams is interesting because that's something I'm going to do that. I don't remember most of my dreams lately. As I get older, it's just I'm in and out of sleep. Next day, rinse and repeat.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to have to try that out.
I've stopped having flying dreams. I used to have them constantly. And now, but I do, one thing that's really weird, what I do have, and it's happened since the beginning of my dreaming, is I keep visiting the same place. Not every night, but every once in a while, like every couple of years.
Okay.
Now, it's a different location within that same area, but it's always that same area. Okay. And every time that I'm in that area, I know that I'm visiting it again. So I know I'm dreaming in the dream, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is that place. While I'm dreaming, and then I go and visit some of the old places that I used to visit before.
God damn, that's awesome.
The first time I dream, but it only happens every couple of years.
So how long ago were you on Oceanic Flight 815?
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
But it's really weird, and I remember like it's.
Is it like a spooky place, or is it like a place where you're like, I've been here?
It's a town.
Okay.
And there's 3 ways to get into town, and one's through these woods that I always, well, not always, but occasionally go through. Another is down this one street, and I have to take a left on a particular area. And and when I get there, when I get into town, there's a store, there's a coffee shop that also sells witchcraft supplies.
Oh wow!
And it's the one.
So you're in Glastonbury, England.
So I always go to this coffee shop. And I always order a cup of coffee, like a cappuccino.
Yeah.
And go look at books. And then I wake up. And that's how it ends every time.
Wow.
Every time it ends the same way. But every time I get into the area, I wake up in a different place. And then I make the conscious decision on how I need to get there. Do I want to go through the woods? Do I want to go down the street? And then there was the third way, which I can't remember. I think I'm already like in the area, but like kind of like just down a couple blocks.
Okay.
I just need to like walk over to the store.
That's awesome.
And then when I get to the store, it's always a coffee shop. There's a couple people there, but it's always different people. I've never really paid attention to the barista, poor guy or girl. Mm-hmm. And I usually, then I go wander into it's a connected library area, and then I go wander through the library.
Yeah, that's probably, I mean, that's a good way to tell as well that you never, like, pay attention to the barista, because if you look at their face twice, I bet it would be different. Because that's one of the ways, it's like one of those things where, if you're dreaming, there's a bunch of ways, like reality check tests.
Like you can't read, supposedly.
I call bullshit on you can't read. I can read in my dreams.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of one thing that a lot of people cite is looking at a clock, and it might look like it's melting. You might get 2 different times if you look at it quickly.
Faces are always fuzzy.
Yeah, faces.
Unless it's a specific person I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
exactly.
that you know about.
Like you can try to find a mirror, see how your reflection looks, because that can be a telling sign.
I've also died a lot of times in my dreams, like full on died.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that one's scary.
Wild. I've had dreams where it's like I've almost died, or like like anxiety. It's really like that. Then I wake up and it's like, God damn it! Like that was not fun at all.
So here's a good story. You guys want to hear? I mean, is this too like? Am I turning this into a weirdo podcast?
No,
not at all.
All right. So here's like the creepiest dream. I will never forget it ever. Like, the visiting place one is pretty decent, but this one's like weird.
Yeah.
This one scares me. So this one night, I happened to be having a really lucid dream, like the kind where you can feel the wind blow your hair and whatever, and it has a certain smell. It smelled like fall. I was on the porch of my house in the Midwest at the time in this dream, and it was just me on this. So me standing on the front porch, kind of this fall twilight time of day, and there were woods out to the left, kind of in the distance, and then the sky was like this weird twilight sky where it was kind of like hot pink, and then it turned into like a dark purple with a few clouds like above me. Now this is all important because it comes into play later. So I'm standing there and I'm thinking, oh, this is really, what a nice night, because I really love fall and this is amazing. And this is great. And then I happened to see off in the corner of my eye that there was this little ball of light bouncing through the forest, and that it would disappear when it would go behind a tree, and it would reappear as it came around and it kept getting bigger and bigger as it got closer and closer. And finally it like basically zoomed over to the porch where I was standing and shined in my face.
Okay.
But it's so bright that in my dream I remember closing my eyes and squinting. I open them up, and there's a really tall dude standing there, but I can't see his face. And he's kind of like draped in this like weird robe.
Okay.
And he says to me, you need to come with me. And I said, no, I can't go with you. This is a dream. I got to wake up. He's like, no, it's time. You've been here long enough. It's time to go. And I said, no, I don't want to go. And he goes, fine. And this was like, it took a little longer than this, or it seemed to have taken a little longer than this. But eventually I argued with him enough. He's like, fine, you have a choice, but by tomorrow I'll come back and you got to give me your answer. And then I woke up. And I looked outside, and the sky was the same sky that was in my dream. And I'd been sleeping the whole time. Yeah, purple to that, or pink to that dark purple. So then I remember this dream, right? And I'm like, oh, this is weird, that's weird, that's weird. So much so that I drew it out. Like, I have a sketch of it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, I forgot about it again, because you just go about your day. And whatever. And then I fell asleep, and then... Again, this time, it was the same wind, it was the same sky, but I was just kind of standing in nothingness.
Yeah.
But then the ball of light kept bouncing closer and closer and closer and closer off to the area that I had come in before. And when it shined in my face this time, I yelled out, no, I don't want to go. And then woke up. And have never had that dream again. Sky was the same as the night before.
That's so weird.
It was like totally creepy. I'm wondering if I said yes, would I have died in my sleep? That's what I think would have happened.
Wow.
That's just me.
See,
They came to get me.
That type of stuff freaks me out too, because, like, I'm a firm believer, like, when people are on their deathbed or whatever, or when people are just sick for a while, how they're like, I'm ready, and then they just die. Like, I fully believe if you, like, your brain... If you're set on it enough or whatever, you can decide to, like...
There's a certain willpower element to it.
There's a certain willpower to shutting off.
Yeah, you can shut
And if you're in a dream like that, and, who's to say? Who's to say that's not how some people just die in their sleep, or whatever like that?
Yeah, I would have...
Yeah, so the moral of the story here is...
Don't push
There's
the
never a good reason that some guy is draped in a robe.
and standing and saying,
Except for graduation.
Time to go. Stranger danger, folks.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
If you're not at his college graduation, run.
And that's something too. Is I was reading a while ago, like when you dream, your dreams are only like 3 to 4 minutes or whatever, and it's always like right before you're about to wake up, as it is.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
With the sleep cycle,
whichever cycle you have these visualizations, is a lot shorter than you realize.
You're more tired if you there's an app, I can't remember the app, but a sleep cycle is generally you really only need like 4.5 hours of sleep. That's how long like a standard sleep cycle is. And if you wake up in the middle of a cycle, you're going to be way more tired than if you wake up at the end of a cycle. Like if you wake up at the tail end of a normal cycle, you're going to be more awake than if you woke up in the middle of a
I can
sleep
promise
cycle.
you that is true. Have a baby and you will discover very quickly how miserable life can get when you don't get any sleep.
Oh, man.
I feel, and this is going to be a really, tongue-in-cheek thing to say, but I feel like, I could probably withstand a lot of things, if somebody wanted to, like, really fuck with me, but the one thing to break me really, really quickly would be a lack of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
That is just the killer.
Well,
yeah.
I made it through college with a minimum of sleep, but nowadays I don't know if I would be as functional. I think it's just if you can combat it with a certain amount of coffee.
Yes.
Or other stimulants.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of caffeine. I'm like Bane with caffeine. Like I have a constant supply of caffeine going into my system.
You merely adopted the dark roast. I was born in it, molded by it.
Are Bane impressions still fun?
I think so.
I hope so.
But me and my friend were doing Bane impressions, and they got sillier and sillier, and then we got talking about how funny it would be to overdub Don Knotts' voice on over Bane. Just because if you the sillier our Bane voices got,
closer to Don Knotts. That's where you were on the continuum.
Don Knotts, they were,
Wow.
The Venn diagram of Don Knotts versus Sean Connery and Bane.
Well,
we're going.
On that note, we are approaching our time. Jess, thank you so much for joining us today.
I hope I didn't derail us too much.
This is fun. This is a fun
my
episode.
favorite derailment yet.
No, thanks.
So, where can people find you on the internet? Where can they find out more about your myriad projects?
Well, Twitter is Jessica_Chobot, CHOBOT. Daylight, you just search Daylight in Google and a myriad of things will pop up. I believe.
Is it just PSN or is it coming out on multiple?
It's going to be Steam for PC,
Steam.
and then also PSN for PlayStation 4.
Awesome.
Is that what they're calling it for the PS4?
Yeah, it's the PlayStation Network.
PlayStation Network. Okay.
Well, I don't know why they would change it. That would be weird.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, sometimes they reboot things.
And there's also, is it going to be on Xbox Live?
No, unfortunately it's not. And,
all right.
Unfortunately no.
You got Steam, you got PSN.
You can see me hosting a lot of events for Microsoft, and those usually pop up on the Xbox
very
dashboard.
nice.
And then obviously Nerdist News.
Yes, Nerdist News. YouTube.com/Nerdist. Subscribe today.
Yeah. So, a little bit of everything.
Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And,
you guys will have to come on mine once we get it started, especially since we talk dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
I just need your spooky shit.
Listen, I will start compiling my spooky shit.
That's some spooky shit.
Spooktacular. And as per usual, you can find us on the World Wide Web as well, named for the late Mr. Winchester. You can find me at OsteoFerocious.
And you can follow me on Twitter at MyNameIsRazzle2.
But if you want to follow the podcast in a more meaningful capacity, you can follow us on Twitter at TWL Podcast. We're on Facebook, Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan. And you can shoot us an email at twlpodcast@gmail.com. As always, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. If you want to pass this along to your friends, relatives, loved ones, coworkers, just sign them up for a listserv. People love when you do that.
Absolutely. Feel free to give us a great review on iTunes. Give us a 4 or 5 star rating or a 3-star, and
45 stars.
Leave us some comments. That'd be awesome. We always appreciate it. And as always, knowledge is power, and
knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
And now you know.
Now you know. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.